Morning. My name is Milton Holly. I'm a landowner in Cordell, City of Cordell. I've owned a land for a while. Now I want to speak about this ordinance about mobile homes should face the streets. The way lots in Cordell are designed, the lots are the lots are perpendicular. You cannot place a mobile home in a perpendicular position. The lots are turned different from the way the mobile home's supposed to be fixed, so the lot will face the streets. And if you pass this ordinance, you'll make it where a lot of people cannot use the property that they own already. The lots are not wide enough. You can't put a square peg in a round hole. So I don't think this ordinance will be suitable for the younger people coming in the future to start off in a reasonable, decent place to live, because the west side, Ward 1 and 2, is mostly composed of people who really don't have the luxury of building a stick-built house. Most of the people got the lots through inheritance or bought them through tax sale. And the way they are situated, most of them are just 50 feet across. You cannot put a manufactured home or any other kind of home in a 50-foot lot and make the streets be parallel with the house all the time. So I'm saying that this is a ordinance that handcuff future generations of people who trying to move to Cordell, people coming out of school to get started. I'm sure most of us didn't start off in a stick-built house. Everybody had to start somewhere. With this ordinance, you're handcuffing the next generation and people in the future. So really, if you got a lot with just one lot 50 feet across the front, will almost render it useless. You just be paying taxes on a situation where you'll never win. So I don't think this is a fair ordinance.
Thank you, Ms. Oliver. Is there anyone else?
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Felicia Grant, and I'm saying that I do want this ordinance because Cordell look like a trailer park on the west side all over town. It decreased everybody else's value. We look like sardine cans standing up there like that. I think it's unfair that you placed in that trailer sideways with no yard, no place for your child to put a playground, swing set, trampoline, park your car, anything. So I'm against it because it degrade us, it make us, I know we all start small, but if we gonna put trailers lined up like that, they need to be in a trailer park, not in neighborhoods. Thank you.
You said you was against, you mean you was against the ordinance or you for the ordinance?
I'm for the ordinance, yes, yes.
Amen.
Is there anyone else?
Yeah, I want to say something. My name is Harold Perry, and I'm a small business owner in the city of Cordell. I also own rental property and lots, and I'm against the ordinance because if you got a trailer park, that's a commercial business. But for, like Mr. Hollis said, for young people that's trying to start out, that inherited a lot from somebody, and they want to get a home, it's almost impossible for them to build a home on a 50 by 150 lot. And some of the lots are 50 by 100 if it's a corner lot. So I'm against it because it actually makes it harder for you to utilize the property that you already have. So like you said, it will make your property useless to you. The only thing you can do is pay taxes on it, get behind on the taxes, go to the land bank, somebody else buy it, and that's it. So you're basically taking the property away from somebody who inherited it because they can't do anything with it. If they can't build a house that faces the street, then what can they do with it? If they can't buy a mobile home, most people started out with a mobile home. I mean, a lot of us in Cordell started out with a mobile home on the west side of town because you couldn't afford to build a house. And it's the same way today. You know, the banks won't lend you money for a mortgage if you got something wrong with your credit, but you can go to a mobile home dealer and they'll put you in a new house. You know, and that's the dream of everybody, to get out of renting and own their own home. So I think it would handcuff the generation, like Mr. Hollis said. I'm against it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none,
Okay, Mr. Vice Chairman, the next public hearing is to amend the 1999 zoning ordinance by amending the following. Section 1, Section 1010.3, subsection A is repealed in its entirety, and a new Section 1010.3, subsection A is adopted as follows. Publish notice at least 30 days prior to the date set by the Board of Appeals for the public hearing. A written advertisement shall be published in a newspaper of general circulation within the municipal boundaries of the city of Cordele, stating the date and time, the location and purpose of the hearing, the location of the property being considered for the zoning action, the present zoning classification of the subject property, and a brief description of the nature of the zoning action proposed, the subject of the proposed subject property. Section 2, the first paragraph of 1010.3, subsection B is repealed in its entirety, and a new first paragraph of section 1010.3, subsection B is adopted as follows. Posting of property for all Board of Zoning Appeals hearings, the chief codes official should cause to have posted in a conspicuous place on the subject property a sign not less than 30 days prior to the date of the Board of Zoning Appeals hearing. Such sign should not be less than 24 inches by 32 inches in size and shall contain information regarding the date and time, location, and purpose of the hearing before the Board of Appeals. No such public hearing shall take place until said signs have been posted for at least 30 days. Signs shall be posted in accordance with the following rules. Section 3, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed. And so basically with this amendment, it's just changed in the published notification date from 15 days to 30 days. And we had already changed the size of the sign posted for public hearings. And so, Mr. Vice Chairman, I turn it over to you for those who want to speak for or against this ordinance, but it is a state law that was approved, I want to say it's House Bill 1405.
do we have any speakers? Would anyone like to be heard on this? Seeing none, we're gonna close the public hearing. We need a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is closed. We're going to our regular scheduled meeting. Oh, I see we have one speaker, Mr. Harold Perry. Unclean water at 404 West Third Avenue West, Port Georgia.
Yes, sir. My name is Harold Perry. I'm the property owner of 404 West 3rd Avenue. And I've been going back and forth with this for several years. These are the filters, the water filters that I have on that property. And, you know, it's kind of strange when you know you got a problem and somebody will look you in the eye and tell you you don't have a problem, you know. And it's hard for somebody to tell me to believe something when I see the evidence of it. You know, I can't believe that I don't have a problem at that residence. When I'm taking filters out of here, I took this one out yesterday. It's been in there 15 days, well, since the 15th. Took it out yesterday, and that's the color of it. And you can't tell me there's nothing wrong with that water. But I guess people are telling me there's nothing wrong with it, but I see a problem right here. And I would just like for the commissioners to consider looking into this problem, get somebody to come out and check it out and try to help me get some results with this. This has been going on, this is an ongoing issue, it's been going on for 4 or 5 years. And every time, we ain't find nothing wrong with your water. But when I take a filter out and I see this right here, I mean, I just can't believe that. And I don't see how nobody can believe there's not a problem with this water. Thank you. This is what a new filter looked like when I put it in. That's a new filter when I put it in, and that's the one that I took out yesterday.
Mr. Perry, how often are you changing filters?
This one was in there, I put it in on the 15th of August. So that's about 2 weeks.
So is that a standard of what you're having? to do?
Sometimes I change them on a monthly basis. Sometimes it might take longer. It depends on how busy I am.
Okay. And they-
But lately, since we've been talking about this, I've been going over changing them every 2 weeks. Well, I got one that I put in there. This one, it was in there 2 days. I put it in there on July the 29th. I took it out on the 31st. It was in there 2 days.
My question, if I may, sir, what type pipes do you have? Are they galvanized pipe or are they metal pipes?
This is before it goes into my house. This is, when it comes out of the meter, I got the filter on the outside of the house. It's before it goes into my house. The whole house is PVC pipe.
So we need to know what type pipes we got running to that property, am I right?
Wastewater treatment plant, they can provide a response. We had asked them to go out after the last meeting, so they would have the information on the type of pipe.
You've got steel pipe, you've got ductile iron pipe, you've got different kinds of pipe, but the closest one to his house is probably PVC. And it's got to travel, you know, all through those pipes to get to his house.
So with it traveling to get to his house,
It can
would
pick
it-
up rust, yes, it can.
but would that be the amount of rust that it would pick up based on what he's showing us here?
I find it odd that nobody else anywhere in his whole neighborhood has got a problem.
Has,
They've never, no one's ever called.
I mean, have we, and I'm based on what Mr. Perry said, cause he was just here last month. Based on that, did we have you check with any other, have we checked, not so much that he did, but have we checked with any other neighbors in
We
that?
checked every house in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Several years ago, this problem, like he said, has been going on, and we have addressed it. We got him a new water meter, thinking maybe that was partially the cause. We had him connected to a bigger water main, which we thought might be the cause. And he quit calling, so I assumed everything was good. And then he came to the meeting the other week with this filter, but, you know, we've done everything I know to do to fix his problem. But I find it odd that it's only in his house.
But does that diminish my problem because nobody else don't have a problem? That's my point. If nobody else calls, maybe they ain't having a problem, but I got the problem. And that's all I'm concerned, I mean, that's my issue. I'm sorry, Royce, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Every one of you sitting up there, me, which I live in Canada, if I live in the city, you live in the same place, district over there, Shepherd, Commissioner Shepherd. If you put this on your line, you'd have the same problem he's got. We've got an ice maker plant, we have a problem at our plant, ice makers. Anybody got refrigerators with ice makers water, they got filters in them. But, you know, and that's the problem, you don't have it. If other people would put it in there, all right, you say, well, what can we do to that? Well, maybe a bigger filter, I don't know what I'm saying, but Debbie said I mean, whatever that we've done, but all of our water passes, state test, so the water is good. It might not look good on that filter, but it's really different. But, if either one of you put a filter like that on your house coming in, you'd have the same problem he's got right there, or the same situation he's got right there. That's what filters are for, that's what they do. We got one at the plant on our ice maker, and as soon as I get back, I'm gonna pull it out and check it, cause, West to check it about once a month, and it's time to check that air water filter. And it's probably just like him right there. It just happened when you pull it Ms. Shepherd, put one on yours and see if it happened to your house.
Sir, I don't know your
Put one
name,
on
but
yours and see if it happened
I
to yours.
disagree with what he's saying because 2 blocks down where I live across from the new cemetery, I have filters on my refrigerator and all that. I don't get this. So I'm just 2 blocks from this house across Joe Wright Drive. I don't get this. So I disagree with what he's saying. So anybody could put a filter on their house and you probably will get some settlement, but you won't get this amount. This is a problem. And they haven't really checked it out to see what the problem is. I don't think she knows what the problem is because they haven't really checked to see what the problem is.
I disagree with that, 'cause I've been there, I spent
Well,
several
okay.
hours over there at that house.
Ken, I heard you say you replaced the plumbing in the house and you went with PVC.
Right.
In the house. What did you do from the house to the meter?
PVC,
So all the way to the meter is PVC?
PVC. From the meter all the way through, from the meter to the filter, all the way through the house. Lynn, the inspector, I called him out there a couple of years ago because I was being told that the problem was in my house. So that's when I replaced my water heater. They told me the water heater was black flowing in the lines. I put a new water heater in there. I went in there and changed all the plumbing fixtures. I did everything that was metal in the house. I took it out and put plastic. Then I went out and dug it up at the meter, right behind the meter, and cut the pipe, and I called Lynn out there. I said, well, come and look at what I'm getting going into my house. He came out there and took pictures. He said, well, that theory that they're telling you that the problem is in your house, so this just blows it out the water. So this is before it even get to your house. And they have pictures, the inspectors have pictures of where they went out there and dug it up. So I didn't come up here to argue. I didn't come up here to make a scene. I just see a problem. And I would hope that the commissioner would try to help me out with this.
Thank you, Mr. Perry.
Thank you.
Our condolences to the passing of your brother. We're going to our department head report at this time.
Mr. Vice Chairman, we did not have anyone signed up for us with, agenda items, specific agenda items.
No one.
No, sir.
Okay. With that being said, we're going to our department head report. Finance Director.
Good morning.
Sales tax receipts for the month are reported in your packet, and that's generally all that's reported in this meeting. If you have any questions, everything's coming along well.
Any questions for the Finance Director? Seeing none?
Thank you.
Fire Chief?
Morning.
Good morning.
This is for reporting period July 27th through August 29th. We had 57 total calls for service. You should have those in front of you. Ones that stand out to me, number one is we had no structure fires, which is a good month. We had 10 fire alarms, we had 31 medical assists, and 7 motor vehicle accidents. As far as department news goes, we did complete training on Ladder 1. We had the push-in ceremony. Ladder 1 is now in service. Our pinning ceremony for Deputy Chief Bullington was postponed due to the hurricane. We're going to try to reschedule that for Thursday or Friday of this week. We did enjoy spending time with the community at Summerfest. I believe it was a success, and we look forward to our partnership with the police department continuing at this annual event. We've rescheduled the smoke detector blitz that was canceled in June due to weather. That's going to be Saturday, October the 7th. It'll be in the same area that it was scheduled before, and that ties in with Fire Safety Month. And then also we are scheduling fire safety programs for the month of October at local schools and preschools. That concludes my report.
Any questions for the Fire Chief? Seeing none?
Thank you.
Fire Chief. Housing and Urban Development.
Vice Chairman, fellow Commissioners. In my report this morning, the first item is the Cordell Planning and Zoning Commission. We held a meeting on August 17, 2023 regarding the 1999 zoning ordinance considering the placing of manufactured homes on the land lot with the main door or entryway facing the public street. And our BZA Board of Zoning Appeals, we held a meeting on the same date, August 17, 2023, regarding the amendment of the 1999 ordinance, Section 1, Section 1010.3 of 8.8, 30 days published notice, and a Section 2, Section 1010.3B, posting of property, Section 3, all ordinance or part of ordinance in conflict with herewith or repealed. And on our, on our Cordell Historic Preservation Commission has a tentative meeting scheduled for Wednesday, September 27th, with one person thus far on the agenda regarding to make a presentation before the Historic Preservation. And that's from Mr. Jeff Sennett. And our next item is the Housing and Urban the Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund. We don't have any changes there. And on the CHIP program, we're still waiting on the DCA office to proceed with the next home as per Southwest Georgia Regional Commission grant administrator. In our CDBG 2020 sewer improvements project, the Lanier engineering firm has advised that the contractor is working on the final punch list, and they are also working on any possible change order items for the McLeod subdivision improvements project, and they're just about finished. I'm sure the residents out there are happy.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? I would like to say that, to the McLeod subdivision,
Yes, sir.
and it's an awesome thing for the city. Commissioner Sheriff, Irene Cottrell, I saw it from the start, it's about to be finished. And I wanna say, Charles, well done. If nobody will tell you thank you, let it be known. Vice Chairman Reed wanted to thank you guys, cause I know what was going on out there. And if you didn't see it firsthand, sewage from the top of the ground, you guys are awesome. Keep up the good work.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Chief of Codes Official.
Morning.
Good morning.
Our report for this meeting is the ongoing construction projects.
For this month is, for the month of August 23, we have treated 1 million gallons on average, and that's water. And year-to-date, 1.728, so wastewater treated now is 3.156 million gallons a day average. And then year-to-date, daily is 3.581 million gallons a day on average. Rainfall for the month of July was 6.8 inches. We got a good bit of rain. Total rainfall for 2023 is 37.44. These numbers of August were updated by the, was they updated by the commission? They wasn't updated. Uh-oh. The rainfall is not updated yet, with things that have been going on past 2 or 3 weeks. And water restrictions put in place are still in effect, and they have not changed. We say that. And this is past tense here, but we just thank the Lord and that said we were preparing for Hurricane Idalia. We had everything ready to go, the generators fueled and everything ready if we did need it. We're thankful that we didn't. And we have our effluent service pumps that failed in August. We got 2 of them, and I think it's been about 17 years since they have been replaced. And both of them actually went down in August. We've got a new one installed already, and as I speak now, the guys are working pulling the other one out so we can see exactly what's wrong. We made it a new one on it one. But we got it going. And effluent service water is reuse water. It's partially treated water right before chlorinated water that we use at the plant for wash downs or chlorinations or something like that, instead of using the city water, because we got some machines and things that takes water and it'll drink up some city water, so we just use that effluent service water. And we're also going to be conducting an annual preventative maintenance on all our 7 lift stations in the very near future, and that's just make sure, we check them every day, but just make sure everything's fine, get somebody to come in that's professional at this and check things and look for things that we may not know to look for, and make sure everything's running fine. And our well levels, we do our well levels and check them monthly, and they've remained fairly steady with the rain that we've had so far. And we have been and will continue to be monitoring them closely during these summer months. And this is when a lot of times fails and irrigation systems go up and start running. Sometimes it causes well level to drop, but we've been okay. And that's it. Has anybody got any questions or anything or whatever?
Any questions?
Vice Chair, I do have one question. Mr. Teddy, would it be possible to put an inline filter before the meter over at Mr. Perry's residence over there, just to see if we got a problem there?
Well, before I say yes, Commissioner Rainey, I would rather talk with maybe Benny Tom if it goes before that, because he would actually, his department, I would say, would probably be the one doing it. But for Mr. Perry, I mean, we can try, and we did at one time. We flushed the hydrants, and his actually at the time we started dealing with him came off of 10th Street, 2-inch line. Well, Public Works, Jim and them had went in, and they've got a 6-inch main coming down in front of the house, and they tied into that 6-inch main and done away with the 2-inch. We was flushing the fire hydrants on maybe a week, every 2-week basis. But it said everything seemed to be going okay. We got no calls, and and I'm like Mr. Perry, I'm not up here trying to point fingers here or there, but we know what we've done, and we've tried to do everything. And somebody can't say we hadn't done anything, because we have. We've been there. Every time we've been called, we've done. And we've even went out into the peanut yard, just sitting there. And we flushed those hydrants. And we have spent literally hours and hours on this one particular problem. And we've checked all the houses along the block down there. We've done all that. And so, but we can talk with Benny and find out and see if just one particular residence, and I would hate to answer for his department, I would, but that's something possible that could be done, just to see what's going on, what's happening, or whatever. And I understand this, but this is what filters do. That's what they're for. And maybe this is not, it is a rare situation maybe, but that's what filters do. That's what they do. They anything out. But the water is not unfit to drink.
Being that Cornell was originally established in this area, could it be possible those pipes have never been changed since 1889 or 1890 when they first put them there, that the pipes are deteriorating now, that it's just running away, and it just, and that house where it's hitting now. And eventually, like you said, I hit all of those areas, because I noticed at the cemetery, we got graves underground that you can't bury right over there, because no one has really upkept that area. So I believe that those pipes have just rusted away little bit by little bit, and it's just hitting the direct area where Cornell was originally found. We grew east. Cornell wasn't always just big over this way. It grew east. So I'm saying that it's possible that the rust is coming from just those pipes that's been there since 1889 or 1890, when Cornell was first found with pipe.
And some of the questions that was asked Mr. Perry was, what type of line do you have? I know I live in the county, but in my house, I live in an old house built back in the 20s. And from my well, I had galvanized pipe. Well, about 2 years ago, I went and cut galvanized from my well and redid everything else, like he said he's done, and we've seen it, he had. And put PVC, because I could be gone for 2 or 3 days and come back and cut my water on. The first thing's coming out for rusty water, out of those galvanized pipes that have been there so long, so that's a question that they've been there and probably, you know, since they've been there, just hadn't been changed and all. Steve might could answer that. But no, you're right. that
And my
it's been
water
there.
might not come out like his, cause my house was built like in 1984, those houses were like 1884, 100 years different.
Well-
So I'm afraid that the lines might be a little different in that area.
To even go back and reflect where you live, the hydrant right on the corner, we used to every week go over and spend 30, 40 minutes to an hour flushing that one particular hydrant right there because of rusty water coming out of the pipes right there, right across the road from your house.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, it's not that we don't care, it's not that we've not tried, we have spent time, we've spent, you know, we've done it, and I understand it looks, if you get rusty water, we get complaints all over town, you get rusty water, they call us, we will go flush a hydrant, or you run it and it'll clear up, and
How do we flush those hydrants now over there?
how?
Often, once a month, once every 6
Well,
months, every 3 months.
As we've been short of help, and with everything that's been on the last few years, we do it on an as-needed basis. As of right now, it should be done once a year, but it's just we get started and it just don't happen like that, and it should be, but as an as-needed basis. We do have some trouble spots, and that was one, but like Debbie said, we've had no calls, so we said, well, maybe things are clearing up, but we've had to change the personnel too, that would do it and things like that, and, you know, that might be something would do again, you know, maybe once a week or something, just to try to see. It's not like, you know, that we're not trying to do something, and we've checked it, we've tested it, we've done this, that, and the other. The water is fit to drink, it just might not look right, but that filter's doing its job, that's what it's doing, that's what it's there for, and it's doing its job.
I just think that we probably have some sort of infrastructure issue somewhere, because there's a lot of pipe running between here and there.
They are.
And, I just think it'd be a lot more cost effective to put an inline filter before the meter for us to show some due diligence at this resident, since he's having such an issue.
The question,
So we could test our infrastructure, and also, so we are selling the water to him, and he is complaining. So I do think that would be a much more cost-effective way to show some additional effort on our behalf.
on an inline filter, how would it be checked, or how would y'all say that we check it or deal with it, so at the bottom? So we have some of those, what they call the traps that you take out and the filters out. We've got them at the plant, we've got them at places, we have to take them out, we've got them at every one of our wells. And we have to take those out and filter, and they're wire screen filters, we have to clean them out ever so often on a regular basis. It's
I
just,
just say right before his meter, and, use the valve cover box for however big the inline filter is. Put an on-off valve right there at the end, right there, so you can cut it off, attach it, check the inline filter. I'm sure they got them so they could be changed. I mean,
Well,
based upon, there's probably, what, an 1.5 inch line coming to his house?
I think it's inch
Inch,
coming in
1
there,
inch
I
line,
think.
put it there, take the valve cover off, cut it off, change it. I just think it'd be way easier. I mean, I know we'll have to cut some water off to some other residents to install that initially, but I think it's doable.
Well, I said with Benny, maybe Steve's department with Jim and them might be the one that would do that. What, you think, Steve, about that? I mean,
I just have to look at it.
okay, all right, okay. All right. Anything else?
David, do we have any openings for engineering? I think Wesley looking for a job. Police chief, can you come back for me if you will? I have the Chris here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, this report is for code enforcement, and it talks about what they do on a daily basis. I can tell you that a lot of what we're dealing with code enforcement issues are abandoned vehicles, overgrown lots, and just discarded trash. That's what we're dealing with. Safe Built started today, so we're getting her on board and familiar with the city, and we look to be more proactive with our code enforcement section.
Any questions? You know, thanks, Chief. This time we'll go to agenda items. First one being proclamation, Ricky Smart. I must say we are excited, I say.
Mr. Smart, would you please come forward? Proclamation. City of Cordele recognize Reverend Ricky Smart. Whereas Ricky Smart began his career in radio in 1979 at WMJM, WFAV, and whereas Ricky Smart went into TV as what is known as WSST in 1989, and whereas Ricky Smart worked in various roles including master control, creative service, commercial production, engineering, and announcing during his career in TV. And whereas Ricky Smart was at WSST when Marquee Broadcasting bought its station in 2018. And whereas Ricky Smart served as general manager from Labor Day 2018 until the present. And whereas Ricky Smart has served as pastor of Grace Baptist Church since 2017. And whereas Ricky Smart has been married to the former Robin Bennett of Enigma, Georgia, for 36 years, and they have one son, Jacob. Now, therefore, the city of Cordele hereby recognizes Ricky Smart for his professionalism, dedication, and commitment to the citizens of Cordele, Georgia, and the surrounding areas. This 5th day of September 2023, the City of Cordele Commission, Chairman Joshua Daristo, Vice Chairman Commissioner Royce Reeves, Sr., Vestibule Shepherd, Ward 1, Isaac Owen, Ward 2, and J. Western Rainer, Ward 4. Congratulations for all your service and a job well done. Thank you on behalf of the City of Cordele and Cruz County. And now a special presentation by Commissioner Isaac Owens.
Rick, on behalf of all the work that you've done, and when it started reading the number of years, I thought about how many years I've been right there with you side by side, and starting with my radio broadcasting, and how much help and influence you were with me when I started in radio. So we appreciate you so much, not because of being in front of the camera, but the work that you've done behind the camera. You've been there when people have needed you. You've been instrumental in making sure things have gotten done. But most importantly, you've been what I call a prayer warrior to help those along the way. There have been many times that you've been right in the heat of many things, but through prayer and the power of knowing who you are and who the Lord has made you to be, you have stood tall in those things. You stood tall. So we want to present this to you and let you know that you will forever be important and a very important part of the history of Cordele when it comes to media and just being a good all-around American person. So we thank you for everything you've done, and we present this to you as well.
I'm not gonna hold anybody up. I'm just gonna say thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, Commissioner Rainey, Commissioner Shepard, Commissioner Owens. It has been a joy. It's been a privilege. And I'm not going anywhere. All of you have my phone number. You know how to find me if you ever need me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If I might add that in my time with Mr. Smart, he's been fair. And but most of all, when it comes to me, he's been a friend. And I want to thank you for that. Okay. Agenda item number 2. To consider and approve the second reading of ordinance amending the city codes of the city of Cordelia to move code enforcement, implementation, and enforcement from the community development department to the police department, putting all ordinance in conflict therewith and for other purposes. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll call to a vote. All in favor? Let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's 3 ayes, so I guess it passes.
Mr. Vice Chairman, you can vote even though you're serving as chair.
We're gonna move forward. Okay,
That doesn't go away.
okay, thanks a lot. Good, good. I didn't know it, okay? All right, agenda item number 3. Consider and approve the second reading of the ordinance amending the zoning code of the city of Cordelia to provide for the principal building main door entryway to face the public street, to provide the chases of the manufactured home be parallel to the city street, repealing all ordinance in conflict herewith and for other purposes. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So, that's a unanimous vote, and let's move on to agenda item number 4. Well, 3 passes. Let's move on to agenda item number 4. Consider and approve the first reading of an ordinance amending the zoning code of the city of Cordelia to provide for notice of hearing before the Board of Zoning Appeals, repealing all ordinance in conflict herewith and for other purposes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. I will call the vote. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Agenda item number 5. To consider the appointment of Milton Holly to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Mr. Vice Chairman, if I may, at the last meeting, I announced that we placed an ad in the newspaper for the vacant seat on the Board of Zoning Appeals. The deadline to submit a letter of interest, was August 23rd, and we only received one, letter of interest, and that was from Mr. Hall.
Okay, so what I see, answer the call. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, let it be known by saying aye.
It died for lack of a second, Mr. Chairman.
That's it.
Oh, we added you.
Okay, that's what
Okay.
But it's still at a standstill because I can't break no more time. So this is something that's gonna have to be,
I didn't hear you.
yeah, it's something that's gonna have to be tabled until we have full body. So, I voted, we're here at 2-2, so, yeah, we're tied at 2-2, so, no action taken today.
Okay.
Motion fails.
Okay, so Commissioner Owens made a motion, you seconded the motion, okay, then you asked for the vote. Okay, and so the vote was,
Two to two.
okay,
And I can't break. I'm tired of them involved in it.
okay, okay, okay. Okay, all right.
So it failed. It did
I
fail.
just wanted to make sure.
Okay, so now, I do have a question. Moving forward, what do we do moving forward to fulfill this vacant spot? Do we have him turn in another letter? What do we do?
Well, it's been announced since last year, if I remember correctly, or early this year.
Well, it's actually a nomination, y'all only had one, so I didn't say anything about it, but you could have easily asked for nominations, asked for further nominations. So I guess at the next meeting, we need to, ask for nominations, would be my suggestion. And then y'all can, Mr. Holly can be nominated, and anybody else who might be nominated for that position.
No, take it.
Okay, I'm confused, but I guess that will, but it's so the next meeting, we come back and we nominate Mr. Holly again. And I guess based on the fact that we will have a full commission,
Hopefully.
then we will just, if there's a tie, if we have the same tie, then the rest of the chairman break the tie.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 6, discussion of Yes Building at 212 North Street.
Mr. Vice Chairman, again, I mentioned in my last report, that the, contract is, up for the Yes Building at 212 North Second Street. And so it was placed on the item for discussion. And, you all have in your packet, a letter that was sent to each, elected official as well as to, myself. And it is a letter of intent regarding the community center, and then we have Mr. Waters here as well.
The letter of intent,
From Rick,
are we talking about the letter of intent from,
Rick and the cat.
It looks like this.
okay, from Julie? Bridging the gap?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so we're over for, do I have a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Uh,
Motion approved. Open floor for discussion.
Mr. Vice Chair, I think we just need to open this up, to the public for those that have organizations that might be interested in the Yes Building, to send us letters for us all to review. And the deadline on those that are interested.
Do you have anything from this end?
When we say we're gonna open it up, are we're saying like, because we received this letter here, then we will give others the opportunity to send the same thing, one.
That's what it's saying.
Okay, all right. And then now, but in accordance to that, the agreement that we have with Mr. Waters and the use of the building, that would give them, they will still stay there until this agreement is made, because based on that, it's from year to year, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
to
a 1
get it
year.
Right.
It's a-
But they have opportunity as well to submit.
or request.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Have we received one from them yet?
Well, that was my question. I don't think they would have known to send one, because we're just gonna have this conversation now, correct?
Exactly.
Right.
So that was my point, that we were gonna have to put a parameter then on the time frame, because nobody would have known, there might be others out there that could be interested, and we still need to give them the same amount of time.
There's always gonna be others, when you're doing things from a year-to-year contract, that's what anything that the city does. We do everything that we do on, for people that don't know, anything that the city does is a year-to-year contract. From the time you start to that year's up, it's done with at the time of that year. So, we do have someone who's showing interest, to, in all fairness, to Mr. Waters, I think what you're saying, in all fairness, I guess you're asking for time for them to submit something.
Well, I think we should give them time, and anybody else, at this point, because I think that's not something we had necessarily established. I got what you're saying about the year-to-year thing, but we also gotta realize we gotta take some accountability to the fact that it had not been done previously. And so it's something that if we're gonna do that, I think we need to give, at least say, give them another, 14 days to submit the paperwork for that, so at least that would be fair to whatever the time frame, but I think we need to.
Is that a letter of interest?
No, I'm good with 14 days up to the next meeting.
Okay, let me.
I'm good with the 14 days. If the year's up, commission, we gotta get, to take it out 30 days. Now, this is just me, I just want somebody, I just feel like the 30 days should be taking it out too far. But if we can get something in by the time, we have our second meeting, for all of those who are interested, if we can have something turn in by that time.
Now, Mr. Vice Chairman, we send a packet out on the 15th. The next meeting is on the 19th. So if you all are wanting a letter of interest before we send out the packet, then we need to, today is the 5th, maybe look at Wednesday the 13th, the same deadline that we did for sign up, September 13th. And at the last meeting, in my report, I guess that's why we received this, because we did announce that we would be discussing it at this meeting. But, are you all okay with Wednesday, September 13th? Because we can include the letters in.
September 13th, you receive the letters.
That's the deadline to receive the letters of interest.
That's good.
Yes, can we ask questions?
I'm gonna allow it this time.
Okay. No, I was just trying to be clear on how the information was gonna get out throughout the city for all of the agencies that show interest to be informed that this opportunity is available, and what is the criteria for qualifying for the space? Is there a criteria?
We'll defer that question to our city manager.
Well, as far as criteria, right now, I'm sorry, who is? It's being opened up to all organizations within the community, for, I guess, whatever programs that you have that you would like to, utilize the building for. Now, as far as the, notification, again, I was looking at my calendar, because the next opportunity to advertise in the Cordia Dispatch, because today is the deadline by 10 a.m., is that correct? You can get in tomorrow's paper, so we can place it in the newspaper and, have still keep the deadline of, Wednesday, September 13th.
So since there is no set criteria for usage of the building, so anybody from senior citizens to youth programs, are you saying can be
And
considered?
as long as it's a program that benefit the community, and I will go back and look at, the guidelines from BCA just to make sure.
Does anybody know what YES means? What, the acronym?
Yes, from my understanding, we called it YES, and was it the Youth Empowerment?
Youth Empowerment Services.
But I guess because a youth bill been in the building before, it's just, we just continue to use the name YES building, but it's 212 North, Second Street.
Yes, I wanna say it was original, our Boys and Girls Club.
Correct. Yes.
May I say
So,
that?
I not allowed this time.
According to the agreement contract that I signed, the agreement shall automatically renew for additional 1 year time unless either party give written notice of non-renewal to the other party. So I never knew of this, you know, I ain't received no written letter or nothing, according to the agreement I signed.
And I think that is a standard contract, but when they approved the agreement, they did state it to be for 1 year.
Okay, so I ain't have no option to renew or then it just automatically decision change?
No one said the decision changed. What we did was, we opened the building up to the public after your 1 year. And we're granting you the same opportunity as everyone else to submit something saying why you should have the building. That, I don't see where you're saying changes. I mean, the contract was up after a year. So there are no changes. It's just, the only changes are other people are asking about the building. That's all.
According to the contract, you know, you supposed to give written consent, that's what we both signed to. I mean, to let me know the direction it going, or that y'all choose to open it up. I mean, I was unaware of that situation.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
You may.
If you remember, sir, when we originally came to this agreement, I asked for a extension of 2 years because the charter said I can only do it 1 year because I knew you need a year organization. And they, chairman expressed to me that we only could do it 1 year, that all contracts with the city would just be 1 year. Now, that was explained, you know, during the original meeting.
Right.
So therefore, it just applies, your contract was just 1 year. I tried to remember.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
So, again, are we done?
Yeah, I mean, alright. So when I receive, whatever y'all asking me to submit in, a notification, what do I supposed to do?
Well, as we were just discussing, Chris, will allow us to place the notice in the paper for tomorrow's edition. And then you have until September 13th by 5 p.m. to submit a letter of interest.
So know that the contract canceled when the year was up, right?
It was stated, yes, for a 1 year contract.
Right.
Mr. Vice Chair, if I'm not mistaken, there is a little more requirements for that facility, and I know Jay's very versed on that, because it was a loan from DCA to build that building, and it's to apply to certain low-income, 70% low-income individuals. And I was trying to remember, I couldn't remember the percentage, that the program must target. Okay. So there is a little more specifics, but you'll get that for the paper.
Right,
Okay.
yes, I need to just look at the DCA document.
DCA
But
document.
that is one of the requirements.
Okay.
Okay. Gonna move along. Agenda item number 7. Discussion of mobile food trucks, time of operation, sharing of the designated areas that the commission is assigned. And I asked for this because I was contacted by, one of the food truck operators, and he wanted to know why couldn't he park his food truck along the side of a food truck that was sitting there at the community clubhouse. So if someone, from my understanding, if someone called City Hall and requested it, it was their parking lot. And I was kind of confused why, you know, with us having food truck Fridays, and there's multiple food trucks there, why would we open it up to one food truck?